on God's green earth can I help him if he won't bother to and is not concerned with helping himself? Go ahead.
How do I answer that question?
I have no idea. That's why I asked
I'm
you the question.
struggling to figure out an answer. Maybe this time that you send him to prison when he's away from all these friends and all these drugs, that'll help. That's all we could do. We could hope.
Maybe all the people he hangs around with will be better off since he's not around.
No question. How could I argue that? Of course. Of course. There's no question about that. But I'm going to just say to you, Judge, you know me a long time. We just finished the case. I'm going to ask you to take into consideration his age, 44?
45.
45 years of age. He's been involved in drugs all his life. And I'm going to tell you something. As you know, you had his brother, who you gave many, many years in prison. His whole family's involved in drugs. That's how he grew up. I'm going to ask you to take into consideration whatever facts you can in relation to this defendant as far as his involvement. Never had a crime of violence that I know. I don't think he's ever had a crime of violence, always drug related. I'm going to ask you to search your mind and your heart to see what's the best thing to do for him. And he would like to address the court.
Go ahead.
I owe the court an apology. You're absolutely right. I don't hold myself accountable. When Judge Malczewski gave me an OR bond, I thought I was going to get out of jail again for a couple of days to find out that my couple bonds here got revoked. I was so angry. I didn't have anything nice to say about the court or the whole situation. Then they let AA come back into the jail. I attended the 2 meetings on back-to-back Wednesdays. Something Billy said was something about you got to just tell one less lie a day. And I told my family that the last case that I caught, that the police confiscated a couple $1,000. Well, that's not true. I lied. I spent the money. I spent the money on drugs. And then, once I got my family on the phone, I told my son and I told my girlfriend, it's their responsibility now at this point to save the house, which could potentially be headed back into foreclosure. And at that point, I realized that, yes, my drug use, not only is it affecting my son, my girlfriend, taxpayers, you, this attorney, the prosecutor, it's affecting everyone around me, everybody, even people that aren't around me. So not only am I not going to be present to help financially in my home with my family, any leadership qualities that I do possess aren't going to be in the home. Not to mention just the chores, being the man of the house, the grass cutting, the gutters cleaning, anything that the tenants need, and now I'm going to be an emotional drain on my family and a financial drain. Plus now everybody's got to step it up to fill in the gap where I've so selfishly taken for myself and claimed to not have done anything wrong. In essence, apologize to the courts. I know that I'm going to prison.
You knew that last time. You knew that on February 1st, right?
Yes, I did.
How did surgery go?
Didn't complete the surgery.
Why not?
Because I used drugs again.
Okay, so I continued that February 1st sentencing to afford you the opportunity to have the scheduled surgery on February 6th because you stood there and told me how bad the condition was. Had Mr. Peterson go to bat for you and tell you how you needed the surgery because they would do a lousy job in the prison system. You took off your sling, took off the package, and showed me how bad it was. So I continued that hearing for about 6 weeks so you could get the surgery 5 days later and recover. Right? Isn't that what I did?
90% of it is accurate. I was meeting with the orthopedic surgeon for them to determine whether or not I needed surgery. But yes, you're right.
That's not
the
information communicated to me. Okay? Maybe you should have told me on February 1st that you were to meet with them. Okay?
I'm fairly certain I
All right. So, how did your meeting go on February 6th?
Never happened, Your Honor, because I started using drugs again.
So that leads me to my next question. As I listen to you talk for about 3 minutes, why in the world would I believe any of what you told me?
I don't know how to answer that, Your Honor.
Answer it as best you can.
I don't know how to answer that question. I mean, I guess expected me to be a drug addict when I behaved like a drug addict. I don't really have a. I don't know how to answer it, Your Honor.
I tell you what. I was sick of it on February 1st, and I'm sick of it now. Okay, because everything that you say, everything that you do, revolves around you playing the part of the hapless drug addict who can't do anything about it. And I'm sick and tired of it. The reason that you don't do anything about it is because you don't do anything about it. In the last 2 days, 2 separate cases, I've had 2 young ladies who were terrible, terrible heroin addicts who've been off it for the space of about 4 or 5 years. So what they did was they did something about it. You don't want to do anything about it. You like to wallow in your own self-pity. That's what you do best. And you come here and tell me how mad you were last week when I revoked your bond. And then how all of a sudden Billy came in and now you see the light. That's nonsense. Go on, roll your eyes and shake your head. I don't care. Okay? Because you've earned the position you're in, which is for me to never believe another word you ever say. You've earned that. That doesn't come easy. Anything else you'd like to say?
Oh, no, Your Honor.
Sit down.
Be careful.
Mr. Geigrich?
The last thing I would add is that anything less than actual incarceration would demean the seriousness of these offenses. Thank you.
Well, it's mandatory incarceration on 1133, right?
Yes.
All right, I've reviewed the pre-sentence report, the drug and alcohol evaluation. I've considered all the provisions, considered what was said in court by the defendant on February 1st and today, considered what was said by Mr. Peterson on both those days, Mr. Geigrich on both those days, and have observed and concluded that you're the ultimate con man. On the 22/11/58, you were caught with crack, meth, pills, and a scale. 23/550, meth. 23/10/22, heroin and meth. 23/794, meth, crack, and powder cocaine. 23/1009, heroin, crack, scale with residue. 400 in cash, 263 in cash, 25 in cash. 23/11/33, 8.9 grams of crack, 22.2 grams of baking soda. Can't imagine what that's for. 23.8 grams of cocaine, 2.4 grams of meth, a digital scale, and a glass measuring cup. Can't imagine what the baking soda, the scale, and the measuring cup were for. What was the baking soda for?
Turning cocaine into smokable crack.
What was the scale for?
For making sure I purchased what I got what I purchased, and for if I attempted to sell something, that I gave them what they paid for.
And what was the glass measuring cup for?
For turning powder cocaine into crack.
So I think we had a discussion on February 1st about the scale. And this is the first time you told me that to make sure what the amount you were selling was correct. You didn't tell me that last time.
Because I'm a frickin' liar.
What?
Because I'm a frickin' liar.
You are. It's the first thing I believe you in what you said in 2 hearings. On 22/11/58, on count 1, the F3, I sentence you to 36 months in prison. On count 2, the felony 2, I sentence you to a definite minimum of 4 years up to an indefinite maximum of 6 years in prison. Those 2 counts will be concurrent to one another. Credit for 6 days. On 23/550, sentence you to 12 months in prison. credit for 6 days. It'll be concurrent to 23 or 22/11/58. On 23/10/22, 36 months in prison, credit 13 days, concurrent to 23/5/50 and 22/11/50.
Your Honor, which file? You said 22?
23/10/22.
1022.
36 months, credit 13, concurrent to 23/5/50 and 22/11/58. On 23/7/94, 24 months, credit 14 days. On 23/10/009, 12 months, concurrent to 23/10/22, concurrent to 23/5/50, concurrent to 22/11/58. And on 23/11/33, sentence of a definite minimum of 6 years up to an indefinite maximum of 9 years. 23/11/33 and 23/7/94 will be consecutive to one another and concurrent to all the remaining cases. Now, on your definite minimum, there's a presumption you should be released after that minimum term. Whether you serve any of the additional up to the indefinite maximum is the determination made by the Department of Corrections based on your behavior and activity while you are in prison. There's also a $7,500 fine imposed that's mandatory on 23/11/33. 11/33 gets credit for 4 days.
Comment your opinion, like the video, and subscribe for more real courtroom moments.